Can I help you with that?
Are you sure?
Absolutely. My lady is in distress, and I'm here to rescue her.
It's only a few streets away. I'm moving in with my boyfriend.
In this video, I want to discuss the downsides or disadvantages of always being the good guy. Personally for me, this has been my own downfall when it comes to my social and romantic life. I am not saying that you should be a douchebag either, that can be bad for your social reputation and self-image, and I am also not saying to not be a decent person in general. I think the world would be slightly better if we all had some basic respect for each other. However, I think trying to always be the good guy is a thankless job. As they say, nice guys finish last. Sometimes you just have to look out for yourself and your own interests, especially in situations when it really matters. Because there will not be many people, or sometimes nobody, in your corner of the fight. You may even have to step on some toes or offend people occasionally to get what you want. But if you tend to bend to the will of others, then they will walk all over you and treat you like a doormat. Actually, I think people will respect you a bit more if you go after what you want occasionally. There is a time for everything though. In this life, it is inevitable that we will both suffer and cause suffering to others, whether to other humans or to non-human animals. Like if you eat a hamburger, some animals had to suffer and die to feed you. Even if you step on some grass, you might harm an insect or even the grass itself. That's just how the world works. It's based on suffering, and we did not make the rules. What I would discourage, however, is causing unnecessary suffering intentionally just for the sake of hurting another person or being, like some kind of sadist. But if there is something you really want in this life and getting it would cause harm to some others, then you have to weigh the choice of either depriving yourself for the sake of others or going after what you want. Of course, the nature and intensity of the harm matters as well. For example, causing physical harm is worse than hurting someone's feelings. But let me illustrate an example from my own life where I did not take this advice and regretted it. Back when I was in my late teens to early 20s, I was part of a friend group, or so I thought anyway. These so-called friends would hang out during the weekends after school. Sometimes they would have parties or perhaps go to a bar or drive around town with our motorcycles. I was, however, kind of low on the social hierarchy in this group because I had to most often invite myself to these get-togethers. Most of these guys treated me okay though, however there were a few douchebags as well. Eventually, some of these guys got girlfriends, and of course I remained single, as I did have some bad experiences in middle school with girls, which made me a bit paranoid as to their intentions. I wasn't the best of friends with these girls, but we did interact a bit. After some time, a few of these couples broke up, and apparently at least 2 of these girls started to like me for whatever reason, which was interesting because I had not really experienced that before. I was attracted to one of them, but I decided to be the good guy, and I did not pursue a relationship with her, because I didn't want to cause drama in the friend group by dating my friend's ex-girlfriend. I put so-called bros before hoes, as it were. So those opportunities passed me by, which was unfortunate because this was before Tinder and social media became popular. The looks standards were very different back then, and even someone like me had a chance when it came to dating. But fast forward a couple years and we were in college. I started getting tired of always having to contact these guys to hang out, so I decided to test the waters by not contacting them anymore. I did not burn any bridges, but I gave them the opportunity to reach out to me. One guy called me once, and then after that it was radio silence. I never heard from them again. It's been like 15 plus years or something like that. So at some point I realized that these guys were not really my friends. I was maybe a good acquaintance at best. I don't think they hated me, but not an actual friend that they cared about. I won't lie, it did hurt a little bit because I considered them to be friends and made sacrifices with that assumption in mind. I tried to be a good friend at my own expense, and it was all for nothing. But of course I'm over it now, and it's fine if they don't want to be my friends. It's fine if anyone doesn't want to be my friend. I don't want to be friends with everyone I meet either. Some people are just acquaintances. You just vibe with certain people, and that's just how it is. That said, if I could send a message back in time to myself, I would say to myself that, hey, these guys aren't bad guys, but they also aren't true friends, so go after what you want, even if you have to step on their toes a little bit, because I am now an unk in my late 30s and I have never had a long-term relationship, and I did not experience young love, which would have been interesting to do. I did eventually have a short summer fling with one girl, so I can't really call myself an inkwell, but I'm not really a normie either. I'm something in between the two, a failed normie perhaps. I tried to fit in and be normal, but it didn't really work out for me despite having some decent opportunities at one point. But one thing I am grateful for is that I did not have a kid, which would have been a real risk if I had gotten into a long-term relationship. I was not aware of the hell realm back then, and I wasn't an antinatalist either. My current self would have regretted procreating, not because I'd hate my kid or anything, but because I would not want to bring them into this world. Remember to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video. Okay, thanks, bye.